morning to you ladies, my name is Jacksepticeye and welcome to another personality test. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jack, didn't you already do this? Yes, I did, but apparently I did very shit ones. I did ones that people just can make up in their bedrooms and then answer questions on those, which I thought was fun. I thought it was a good idea. I thought that it made for an interesting video, but since I did that, people have wanted me to take a proper one, a proper personality test to see what my actual personality type would be. And everyone kept saying, well, people were suggesting different things, but the common denominator that a lot of people were suggesting is this 16 personalities test, which determines your MBTI or something like that. It gives you letters and it's supposed to be a very, I don't know, a very cohesive understanding of the type of personality you are. And you get these different personality types at the end. So there's like analysts, diplomats, sentinels, and explorers. And within each of them, there's 4. So 4 4s, 16 personalities. And it's supposed to, it gives you these like ENFP, ENFJ, ENTJ, ESTP, all these different types of things, which at the end, we'll figure out what they actually mean. So this will give me a way better understanding of what my actual personality is. And I think this is approved by like actual psychoanalysts and psychologists and therapists and all these different collective units. So there's a lot of questions in it. It says it takes less than 12 minutes. Answer honestly, even if you don't like the answer, and try not to leave any neutral answers. So try not to be middle of the road. And that's important, answering honestly, because a lot of people in these tests, they answer what they think is the right answer, instead of answering honestly and getting your actual thing, because everyone wants to perceive themselves to be a better person than they actually are, which is not always true. Sometimes we have some harsh truths about ourselves. So we're going to find out some stuff about Jack at the end of this, and we're going to see if I'm actually the person that I think I am and everybody else thinks I am. So first question, I might skip over some of these, depending on how long this is going to take. So, you find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people? No. I don't find it hard to introduce myself to other people. Usually when I meet them, it's just like, hello, hi, what do you do? Yes, hello. I'm usually very good at meeting new people. You often get lost in your thoughts and ignore and forget your surroundings. I can get lost in my thoughts, but not to forget my surroundings. It's usually when I get like focused on what I'm doing. If stuff's going on in the background, I usually get distracted by that. You try to respond to your emails as soon as possible and cannot stand a messy inbox. Yeah. I can't stand when my inbox is messy. If I go into my Gmail and I love how Gmail has just become the synonymous term for emails. It's like electronic mail. Everyone's just referred to Gmail because everyone uses Gmail these days. And for good reason, it's the best one. But whenever I go into it and there's a lot of stuff in there, I'll either delete it if it's not relevant to what I need to respond to, or I'll respond to it immediately. You find it easy to stay relaxed and focused even when there is some pressure. Yeah. Not fully, but usually if there's some pressure, it makes me actually like get the shit done. You do not usually initiate conversations. Somewhat disagree. It depends on the company. Sometimes I get stuck in and I initiate conversations a lot because I want to talk to the people and I want to make them feel welcome and involved. You rarely do something just out of sheer curiosity. Yeah. And usually it's not just for curiosity's sake. Usually I have to have a reason to do something. I'm not just like, I wonder what it's like to stab myself in the hand, and then I do that. Well, see, some of these questions are weird, so I'm just going to try and answer based off, like, my initial understanding, because I'm not going to sit here and take all day to thoroughly go through everything. And at the end, I might do it again, just to, like, not on camera, but I'll do it again and show you the result to see if I get the same thing, because people also said that different answers might actually come out. You feel superior to other people? No. I don't feel superior to other people. I think we're all piles of shite at the end of the day. We're all just human at the end of the day. Well, regardless of who you are, or what you believe in, or any of that sort of stuff. Being organized is more important than being adaptable. No. I like being organized. I like stuff to be in their place, and I like to be organized when I do YouTube. But when it comes to being adaptable, I'm usually fairly adaptable if something needs to be done on the spot. And I always think back to conventions with these types of things, because that's where a lot of stuff changes and a lot of regimentation. It's not a fucking word. It's a lot of, like, scheduling goes into these types of things, and if something needs to happen on the fly, I'm usually pretty adaptable. But not so much. I do like being organized to a degree as well. You're usually highly motivated and energetic. Yeah, that's me. I never stop going. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. Yes. Well, it depends on what the debate is about. If it's something that actually has a lot of significance and importance to what's going on, then, and especially if it's a businessy type of thing, like I've had to do stuff with contracts before where you can't really think about people's feelings in those regards. You kind of have to do what's best for yourself. But if it's a debate like between friends and stuff, like winning a debate doesn't matter to me. I just want everyone to have a good time and feel involved. So for that, I'm not going to go crazy either way, because that's there's a lot of nuance to these answers and these questions. And I am trying to answer honestly. I'm not going to try and make it seem like I'm this fantastic person. Again, as I said, we're all human. I'm just going to answer the best I can. You often feel as if you have to justify yourself to other people. No. Not really. And again, this comes back to YouTube as well. If people don't like me, the big diff, big whoop. A lot of people in the world aren't going to like you, and sometimes you just have to suck it up and realize that instead of trying to change their opinions. And if I meet new people, it's usually a case of, you're a human, I'm a human, let's talk like people. Instead of having to be like, yeah, 14 million subscribers, yeah, I'm better than you, because I hate when people do that. Your home and work environments are quite tidy. Yeah, not completely, but they're not messy. But they're not fucking pristine either. You do not mind being the center of attention. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be, but if I'm suddenly thrust into being the center of attention, then I can usually hold my own. That comes from being the baby in the family, when you have two brothers and two sisters who are all older than you, and all of a sudden, all eyes are on you. It's like, oh, you're the baby of the family, are you? And then you're kind of thrust into the spotlight. You consider yourself more practical than creative. More practical than creative. Oh, God. Am I? Like, do I get shit done? Or see, that's the thing. I need to know, like, the actual definitions for these things and the actual, like, meaning that you're trying to get across here. So, I am very practical. But I'm also pretty creative, so no. I don't know. That's a hard one to answer. People can rarely upset you. Yeah. I mean, people throw shit at YouTubers all the time, and I have gotten my fair share of shit. Every single day, it's something like, Jack, you're so dumb. You didn't do this properly. Jack, I hate this game. Play something else. You sound like 12-year-old girl. All these different types of things, and you shout too much and everything. But it rarely upsets me. It's only if it, like, nigs at that one insecurity, or if I'm just having an off day and then somebody says something and I'm like, why? But it rarely happens. I'm usually an upbeat person and I usually just get shit done. And I'm of the mindset that I shouldn't let my feelings interfere with what other people are doing. Like, if I feel upset and I'm moody and I'm in a shitty mood, I don't want to be an asshole to somebody else just because my mood is off, because I'm a firm believer that my mood will shift again eventually. I'll go back to being fine or being happy eventually, but what I say or act towards other people will likely stay with them for a lot longer than my mood will stay with me. So I like to, I try not to get upset over things. I like to try and analyze it and work out why I'm upset and then try and get over it. And if I am upset, I'm just like, okay, give me 10 minutes. Let me just sit, relax, absorb into the mood, and it'll pass. Sorry, I'm ranting on all of these. We're not even halfway. This might be a long video. Who cares? We learn a little something about ourselves and each other. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. Yes. Well, maybe this one. Because, again, conventions. When I'm going to a convention, the travel plans are usually very much set in stone. Getting to the airport, getting on the plane, having travel documents, getting from the airport to the hotel, getting from the hotel to the convention. All of that is way planned ahead. But, like, again, I'm adaptable in the moment. So, yeah, the travel plans themselves are usually very well regimented. It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. No, strongly disagree. I can very much put myself in other people's shoes a lot of the time. It's one of the reasons I cry so much playing games and watching movies and stuff like that. Even listening to some music sometimes. Because my mind, like, can go very much into what people in other scenarios are feeling. And again, playing games, that's why I get so involved in them, because I get so immersed in what's going on. And if somebody is upset, and I'm a very good judge of character, I'm a very good judge of people and their behavior, because I like to like sit back and just observe sometimes. That's why I love movies, because I love acting and I love watching like people fade into a role and just understanding how all of that works. So when people are feeling a certain way, even it might not be explosively outward how they feel, but I can usually like tell by their body language. I'm like, oh, that person's not feeling very well. Your mood can change very quickly. Can't everybody's? Yeah. I mean, I guess if I'm playing Overwatch and I'm losing a competitive game because my team are being idiots. I think everybody's mood can change on a dime. My mood is usually very, very consistently upbeat and energetic and happy, but there are moments when it can shift very dramatically. Because we're human. In a discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities. Kind of disagree on that one. It depends on what the truth is. Like, if it's something huge and it's something that people need to get over or people are being delusional about, then sometimes truth is like, you need to let it go. This is how things are now. But, I mean, if it's something like somebody's dog died and you're like, you need to get over it. Dog's fucking dead. He's not coming back. That's a bit harsh. Or sometimes people's sensitivities flare up a bit more and it's like, okay, I'll let you have this moment to grieve. Or if somebody's like, if somebody feels bad about their weight or their mentality or they're just feeling slightly down that day, sometimes the truth is not what they need. Sometimes they just need someone to listen. You rarely worry about how your affections affect other people. No. I'm usually very considerate about what I say. And sometimes if people are being shitty and they say something very shit towards me, sometimes I let it pass because they might be having an off day or... I don't know, me... Good God, I can hear the fucking dog next door howling. I don't know. I'm usually very aware about how people feel. And how my actions affect other people. I'm usually very self-aware about how much of an asshole I'm being if I am being one. Which is very rare. Probably because of this. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than to a methodical, organized approach. Disagree. I'm usually very, very methodical and organized when it comes to my work ethic. I can have random energy spikes, but I'm usually turned up to 11 like all the time when it comes to my workflow because I like getting shit done. I like being busy. I like being proactive and getting out there and getting my work done. You're often envious of others. No. I mean, sometimes. Sometimes somebody will have something or something will go well for them. I'm like, wow, good on them. I wish I could do that kind of thing. Or people are doing like big projects. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Good on them. I wish I could do something like that and like grab a hold of a niche like that the way they have. And I mean, we all have envy here and there. Not jealousy. Envy and jealousy are two different things because jealousy is more malicious than envy is. An interesting book or a video game is often better than a social event. Hell to the yeah. A fucking good video game, not books, because I'm not like a bookworm. I'm not an avid reader. I'm envious of others that can sit down and enjoy a book, but I'm more visual. I'm more auditory and visual stimulated than anything else. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is more important. Is the most important part of a project. Nah. You need some spontaneity in there as well. Okay, I need to speed up some of these answers instead of dwelling on them. Because otherwise we're going to be here for like 40 minutes. Because there's going to be a rundown of this at the end, I imagine. You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. No. Yeah. I mean, I usually don't like sit there and think about something all day and be like, wow, I wish I could do this and that and the other. Because I usually just go after it and get it done. You often find yourself lost in thought when walking in nature. Yeah. If I'm just out on a walk in nature, I'm definitely lost in thought. If someone does not respond to your email quickly, you start worrying if you said something wrong. Nah. As a parent, because sometimes I don't respond to emails like really fast. I know that kind of contradicts what I went back to before, but there's some times when there's those emails that I don't respond to quickly because I need a moment to think about it. So I'm always aware that other people are probably doing the same thing. And my emails are usually never personal. A lot of, like, all my email interactions these days are all, like, business related and talking to game developers or talking to people at networks and stuff like that. So I'm usually like, they're probably busy. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. I mean, I want my child to be smart, but I don't think smarts are everything. I think a compassionate person is a lot more valuable. I don't know. Valuable is not the right word. That makes it seem like I put value on different people, which is not the case. I think just being a person who's not the smartest, and I'd like to rely on my compassion and my generosity more. I feel like that's the kind of child I would want as well. Don't get me wrong. People who are smart are fucking awesome. And I wish I could be super smart. And I wish I could be a fucking genius at something. But personally, I gravitate more towards kind people than smart people. I love listening to smart people though. You do not let other people influence your actions. Oh, this is a hard one. In my day-to-day life, not really. But because of like YouTube and stuff, I kind of have to let... Because there's an audience here on the channel. And you guys, whatever your reactions to certain things are, I kind of have to go by those reactions and let those actions influence what I do going forward. So I'd kind of disagree on that front. Again, we're trying to be honest. I'd love to say that other people's actions don't influence what I do, but again, sometimes they have to. Your dreams tend to focus on the real world and its events. No. My dreams are all over the fucking place. I had a dream about Resident Evil the other day. It does not... Oh, does that count as reality because I was playing it? Nah. It does not take you much time to start getting involved in social activities at your new workplace. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a new workplace, and I haven't had like the stereotypical workplace environment. But I have a feeling if I was in a workplace, I'd get involved pretty quickly. You are more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. Yeah. I can usually go with the flow very, very well. More so than planning everything out to the nth degree. Because I do believe in improvisation. Hopefully I'm answering these right and I'm not just blasting over them and then not realizing what the question is actually asking. Your emotions control you more than you control them. No. Sometimes my emotions can get the better of me, especially excitement. But usually I'm pretty in control. You enjoy going to social events that involve dress-up or roleplay activities. Yeah! I mean, I don't go to them often, but the idea of them really excites me. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing ideas. Unrealistic. Do I? I don't think so. I don't think I do. I think I'm very realistic in my ideals. Because I always say that as well. I'm like the channel can do great things and we can all do fantastic things together. But I'm never of the mindset that like, yes, let's go out and change the world. Because I'm more realistic in that regard. I'm like, let's help each other be happier today kind of thing. You'd rather improvise than spending time coming up with a detailed plan. Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes with the other one. I can improvise when a plan is in place, but if I have the chance to come up with a detailed plan, I will. Okay, we're at 60 out of 100, I imagine. You are a relatively reserved and quiet person. No. If you had I didn't answer fully on this, because in the moment, I can be reserved and quiet when other people need a chance to talk. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire loyal but underperforming employees. Oh, yeah. I mean, technically, my YouTube channel is a business, and I do have Robin helping me edit. So sometimes the friendship side of things can come into play. So yeah, I do have difficulty with confrontation. I hate confrontation, and if something needs to be said or done, sometimes it's very hard for me to go out there and actually say it to the person, especially if they're a friend. If it's an employee that I have no emotional attachment to, I'd probably find it easier. Nah, I wouldn't. I'm afraid of confrontation. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence. Not really. I'm usually like, we're all here, let's have fun. Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making important decisions. Somewhat agree. Sometimes you have to go with your heart. As Captain Disillusion would say, love with your heart and use your head for everything else. I don't know if I agree with that fully, but I like sayings like that. But sometimes you have to go with your heart. Sometimes you have to let your emotions take control and let you leap into something that you normally wouldn't. Because logic can be like, I'm not jumping into that. Everything could go wrong if I do that. But your heart really wants to get involved. And sometimes because that's how YouTube was for me. I'm like, should I put myself out there to all these people? And my brain was like, nah, what if it goes wrong? What if people don't like you? What if people make fun of you? And stuff like that. But my heart really, really wanted to get involved in it, so keeping your options open is more important than having a to-do list. Yes. To-do lists are great. They help you get shit done every day. But I like keeping my options open. If your friend is sad about something, you're more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. Oh, no. I do offer emotional support. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that because I'm a bad friend or anything. It's because I don't know. I feel like guys, this is the thing that guys do a lot, is that we try to offer up solutions to problems, and that's not what people want to hear every now and then. Not to sound sexist or anything. It's just with me, it's always a thing that, like, I'm always the person trying to find a solution to the problem. Because when I get into emotional distress or if something goes wrong, I'm always thinking in a way, how do I resolve this? How do I get over this? So when it happens to other people, sometimes that's where my mind goes directly. Instead of, like, sometimes people need that shoulder to cry on and they just need someone to vent to. Whereas I'm like, okay, but if we did this, it would solve the problem. And then they're like, I don't need that. So, don't get me wrong, I am a good friend. It's just, that's where my mind goes to. You rarely feel insecure. Yeah. You have no difficulties coming up with a personal timetable and sticking to it. Yes. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. No. Actually, that's more of that one. Not really. Well, yeah, this one, because it depends on what I'm right about. If it's something that, like, if you're doing a project in college or something, and what you're saying, you know, will, like, get you the better grade, then sometimes you kind of have to stick up for what you're saying, even when your team disagrees with you. I guess. I don't know. I don't like upsetting people. You think that everyone's views should be respected, regardless of whether they are supported by facts or not. Yeah. Again, it depends on what their view or opinion is about or what we're talking about, so I'm not going to strongly agree, but usually I'm like, I sit in and I'm like, okay, I can see your point of view. I respect that. I still think you're wrong, but I respect your point of view, and I can definitely see it from your side of things. I just don't see it that way. So that's why I'm answering this way. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. Hell yeah. Going back to conventions. I am a ball of energy after those. You frequently misplace your things. Nah. I usually know where things are. You see yourself as very emotionally stable. I'd say so. I'd say I'm very in control of my emotions. Some of these I'm probably answering that's contradicting what I said before. But yeah. I do have my moments where I'll get sad and stuff will happen, but I'm usually very much in control of what's going on. Your mind is always buzzing with unexplored ideas and plans. Yeah. Not so much, but usually I'm thinking like, oh, I wonder what we could do today. You would not call yourself a daydreamer. Or a dreamer. No, disagree. Not daydreamer, just a dreamer. I have goals and aspirations. I'm usually fairly realistic about them, but I do have my ideals that I'd like to strive towards. Usually find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. No. If I'm in a group of friends, I can usually relax. Generally speaking, you rely more on your experience than your imagination. Somewhat agree. My experience has gotten me through life and it'll continue getting me through life, but there's that little bit of room for imagination. For your dreamer ideals. You worry too much what other people think. Oh, yeah. I do. I worry what you guys think all the time. I worry what other YouTubers think of me. I worry what my friends think of me. I worry how I'm being perceived to other people. I like to be self-aware about who I am and what I am, to try and make myself a better person. Okay, last questions. If the room is full, you stay closer to the walls, avoiding the center. Yes. I'm thinking back to any sort of like events that I've been at, like college-wise, YouTube-wise, where there's a lot of people involved. I usually stay at the back or the sides or something because I don't want to be that person that's right in the middle and everyone's focus is going to that person. If I'm in that scenario, I don't have trouble dealing with it, but I'd much rather avoid it if possible. You have a tendency to procrastinate until there's not enough time to do everything. No. You feel very anxious in stressful situations. Not really. In stressful situations, my mind usually goes towards, how do we fix this? How do we overcome this? How do we get this done? Instead of letting my anxiety I do get anxious, but it's not sort of like a crippling anxiety. You believe that it is more rewarding to be liked by others than to be powerful. I'm gonna have to strongly agree with that. Power is not something that I look for. Power is not something that power is not one of my ideals. It's not one of my goals. I'd much rather be liked by people and do good things than be powerful. You've always been interested in unconventional and ambiguous things, books, art, and movies. Yes. Hell yes. I fucking love art, movies, books, everything like that. You often take initiative in social situations. Yeah. Okay. What are we gonna get? I am a protagonist. With vision and determination, nothing is impossible. I am ENFJA. Whatever that means. My mind is extroverted. This trait determines how we interact with our environment. Yeah, I always have felt that I'm more extroverted than introverted. I thought it was extroverted. Learning something new. There's another thing down here as well that we can click out. There's a lot more in this. Energy, I'm intuitive rather than observant. Not a whole lot. I'm a bit middle of the road when it comes to that. Nature, I go more with my feeling than my thinking. Yeah, I guess that's true. I do like to logic things out every now and then, but usually it's more of a spur of the moment kind of thing. And that's what I was saying, like with video games, it's very much a do what's happening now, rather than sitting down and logicking things out. And that's why usually when it comes to puzzle games, I'm not the best at them. Tactics, judging rather than prospecting. An identity, I'm more assertive than turbulent. You hear that, everybody? I'm not problematic. Okay, that's just a statistics thing. Let's actually read what all of this means. So we've gotten to the end of it. Again, apologies that this is so long, but I feel like that this is fun and important. I'm only going to read, because there's a lot of strengths and weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood. I'm not going to read these ones, because, I don't know, I feel more about, I'm going to give the like rundown of what this is. Everything you do right now ripples outward and affects everyone. Your posture can shine your heart or transmit anxiety. Your breath can radiate love or muddy the room in depression. Your glance can awaken joy. Your words can inspire freedom. Your every act can open hearts and minds. Protagonists are natural-born leaders, full of passion and charisma, forming around 2% of the population. Whoa. They are oftentimes our politicians, our coaches, and our teachers, reaching out and inspiring others to achieve and do good in the world. With a natural confidence that begets influence, protagonists take a great deal of pride and joy in guiding others to work together to improve themselves and their community. It's starting to sound bang on the nose right now. Firm believers in people. People are drawn to strong personalities, and protagonists radiate authenticity, concern, and altruism. Altruism is like a selflessness towards other people. Something like that, right? Unafraid to stand up and speak when they feel something needs to be said. They find it natural and easy to communicate with others, especially in person, and their intuitive N trait helps people with the protagonist personality type to reach every mind, be it through facts and logic or raw emotion. Protagonists easily see people's motivations and seemingly disconnected events, and are able to protect... there's a lot of stuff on screen right now. And are able to bring these ideas together and communicate them as a common goal with an eloquence that is nothing short of mesmerizing. Nothing short of mesmerizing, y'all. The interest protagonists have in others is genuine, almost to a fault. Oh, that's me. When they believe in someone, they can become too involved in other person's problems, place too much trust in them. Luckily, this trust tends to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, as protagonists' altruism and authenticity inspire those they care about to become better themselves. But if they aren't careful, they can overextend their optimism, sometimes pushing others further than they're ready or willing to go. I don't know, man. This is sounding a lot like me. Protagonists are vulnerable to another snare as well. They have a tremendous capacity for reflecting on and analyzing their own feelings, but if they get too caught up in another person's plight, they can develop a sort of emotional hypochondria, seeing other people's problems in themselves, trying to fix something in themselves that isn't wrong. If they get to a point where they are held back by limitations someone else is experiencing, it can hinder protagonists' ability to see past the dilemma and may be of any help at all. When this happens, it's important for protagonists to pull back and use that self-reflection to distinguish between what they really feel and what is a separate issue that needs to be looked at from another perspective. Good lord! That sounds a lot like me. Because I get very involved in other people, and I want other people to do well. And I try and inspire and, like, help people achieve their best. Because I was always one of those people that, I was never this person before. YouTube has very much made me this type of person. And I don't know if I was introverted back then, but I was a lot less willing to go out there for other people. And I think YouTube has really inspired that in me. And that's why I want to do it for other people. Because it's changed me in that way, and other people have changed me in that way. So then sometimes I can get very much involved in other people, and if they're not ready to do that, then sometimes I guess I can kind of push them too hard. I'm usually very self-aware about it. But sometimes if I see like my friend YouTubers doing something that I don't agree with or I don't think is right, sometimes I start overthinking what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, don't do things like that because other people will start seeing what you see in them in you. And sometimes that's not the case. And I think that's what's kept me more humbled than some other people, because I'm always afraid of going one step too far. I'm always afraid of going that extra bit that makes people judge me very harshly. And now that I know that the channel is quite large and there's a lot of eyeballs on it and a lot of other YouTubers know what the channel is and know who I am, I'm always afraid of doing things that will suddenly ruin me. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, that is. So, it's weird. There's always that tiny bit of me that's holding myself back from doing something that I think other people will judge me harshly for. And maybe that's a good thing, but also it's kind of a bad thing to not achieving my absolute max capacity. That's what I said about my New Year's resolution this year, is that I want to do more, and I want to be happier, and I want to just kind of let some of that shit melt away and just be my own person rather than trying to, I don't know, seeing stuff in me that isn't there. Protagonists are genuine, caring people who talk the talk and walk the walk, and nothing makes them happier than leading the charge, uniting and motivating their team with infectious enthusiasm. Man, that one sentence right there says a lot about me. Because I do talk a lot of talk. I do try and motivate people and lead the charge and try and unite this community all the time. But I try to do it in a genuine and caring way, instead of being like, you can go out there and do anything. When sometimes it's not the most realistic thing to say. Because sometimes people have a hard time going out there and doing anything they want, because a lot of stuff holds them back. Anxiety, depression, social situations, race, gender, religious beliefs, all these different types of things can hold people back. More so than just being like, yeah, you go out there and you do the best you can. Well, that's a bit different than go out there and do whatever you want. Because not everybody can go out and do whatever they want. So I try and do it in a way that's realistic. People with the protagonist personality type are passionate altruists, sometimes even to a fault. And they are unlikely to be afraid to take the slings and arrows while standing up for the people and ideals they believe in. It is no wonder that many famous protagonists are cultural or political icons. This personality type wants to lead the way to a brighter future, whether it's by leading a nation to prosperity or leading their little league softball team to a hard-fought victory. And here's some protagonists who you might know in common pop culture. Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, John Cusack, Ben Affleck, Sean Connery, Jennifer Lawrence, Demi Lovato, Lucy Liu, Daenerys Targaryen, really? Morpheus from The Matrix, the Oracle in The Matrix, Skylar from Breaking Bad, Laurel Lance. Okay, these are fucking fictional characters. Let's go to something like strengths and weaknesses. Let's read some of these. I'm apparently tolerant. I'm reliable. I'm charismatic. I'm altruistic. Uniting these qualities is protagonist and yielding desire to do good in and for the communities, be it at their own home or global stage. Warm and selfless protagonists genuinely believe that if you can just bring people together, they can do a world of good. Yeah, so it's like, it's believing in others, sometimes like selflessly about yourself. Like you care more about the other people. And natural leaders. Okay, some of this I'm inclined to reject. I don't know if other people would see these things in me. Like, I am charismatic, I am reliable, and I am very tolerant. I mean, I guess if you do a YouTube channel and it becomes very successful, you're kind of a natural born leader anyway. I don't think I was naturally born a leader, but I do think I've come into my own when it comes to that stuff. Protagonist's weaknesses. Overly idealistic, too selfless, too sensitive, fluctuating self-esteem, and struggle to make tough decisions. I guess sometimes you don't like to hear these things about ourselves, where you think you're too sensitive. While receptive to criticism, seeing it as a tool for leading a better team, it's easy for protagonists to take it a little bit too much to heart. Yeah, so sometimes when I see criticism, I can take criticism very well, but if I see an onslaught of criticism, sometimes I start thinking there's something wrong with me. More so than seeing it as a constructive criticism. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. But when it comes to isolated constructive criticism, like sometimes people are like, Jack, you could have done this better. I'm like, yeah, I could have. I could have put more into this video. I could have done a lot better with that. But if it's people being like, Jack, you're dumb. Jack, you're bad at this game. Jack, you didn't do this right. Like all, like one after another in a comment section. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm bad. And let's go to conclusion. Oh, okay. Let's read down through this quickly and we'll finish up. Few personality types are as inspiring and charismatic as protagonists. Their idealism and vision allows protagonists to overcome many challenging obstacles. More often than not, brightening the lives of those around them, protagonists' imagination is invaluable in many areas, including their own personal growth. This knowledge is only beginning of a lifelong journey. Okay, so it's saying a lot of the same in what the other one was. So, there you have it. Apparently, I'm a protagonist. I'm sorry that this video is so long. I probably shouldn't be apologizing for that. I'm aware that videos like this are very different and very unique. And some people kind of have a hard time to focus on these types of videos when it's just me sitting down and reading something. But I think that this is good. I think that this is a good thing to do. Not just for me, but for people in general. You guys go out there. I'll put a link to the actual website itself to take the test yourself. So you can see what type of character you are, what type of person you are. And I might take this a couple more times off camera just to see what other ones I get and see if it's consistent or see if I fall into the same categories. Because when we go back to the personality types, I am in the diplomat one. So I'd like to see if I got some other diplomats or if I got some sentinels or analysts or explorers. I imagine I fall into this a lot. I imagine I'm one of these two. Just as I would see myself. I'm going to leave it up to you guys now to see what you got and what you think I would, or if you think that this is accurate to who I am on YouTube. And some of this I'm glad came out because it's always a case of like, you don't want to say that you're one thing and then have something else prove the opposite. At least this kind of reaffirms that yes, I am genuine. I do care. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass when I say these things in these videos, that I very much care about people and I very much believe in people. And it's not just a case of saying things for the camera. It's not a case of saying things because I think that that's what you want to hear, or I think that that's what's going to get me good praise. Because I don't want that to be a case. I don't want to build a channel on falsehood and dishonesty. I'd rather believe in the things I'm saying rather than just putting them out there and then having people be like, well, you say that, but your actions say something differently, because I am a firm believer in actions speak louder than words. And it's often a case that when I'm in situations outside of when the cameras are on, I still treat people with respect and honesty and care. More than just being like, oh, this will get me good praise. This will get me good publicity if I'm nice now. And then I don't care about people outside of that. It's like, that's why I like to like donate to charities and everything. And I like to do, I guess talking about these things kind of defeats that purpose. But I'd like to think I'm a nice person outside of just YouTube. And hopefully that's how people perceive me and how people think about me. I don't do things because I think people will think better of me. I try to do good things because I believe it's the right thing to do. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video here. That was a lot of fun to do. I'm really glad I did this, and I'm really glad I took the time to do it and do it properly. I am curious to see if I got the same thing again, but I imagine I just answered the same questions the same way. Hopefully there's a way of like randomizing them so they don't all come in the same order, because usually my memory can remember what I answered and where I answered. But I'm curious to see what you guys get. I'm curious to see what type of personalities you all are. And remember, answering honestly is better than answering as the type of person you want to be. So, a lot of people want to be better, and that's a very noble thing to do, but maybe you're not there yet, because I was not always this type of person. I was not always a leader. I was not always a super caring person for others that would pour my heart out for everybody. And I think YouTube has really molded me into that, and I've matured as time has gone on. So, answer honestly to who you are now, more so than what you think you should be, or what you think is the right answer, or what you think is like the best answers, if that makes sense. I don't know. Sorry if any of this sounds like cocky or douchey or pretentious, or like I think I'm hot shit. That's not my intention. You guys know me, that's not how I try and come across ever. It's just, I don't know. Some of this stuff kind of rings true to home, or kind of rings true to how I perceived myself, so I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, punch the like button in the face, like a boss, and bye bye, all right. Whoosh, whoosh. Thank you guys, and I will see all you dudes. All polar bears are Irish because they're descended from brown bears that lived in Ireland over 25,000 years ago. Dude, I gotta fucking, oh yeah, come on, let's fucking toe to toe, bitch! Oh, this shotgun is sex! I have an itchy eye. Suddenly. It's crazy!